Coming up, another fatal shooting in Minneapolis as the trial of Derek Chauvin continues.
And a pause in distribution of this COVID-19 vaccine. What you need to know next.
All that more today, Wednesday, April 14th. Good morning, Emerson. I'm Amog Matthews.
And I'm Danielle Finezza. Thanks for waking up with us.
So for those of you at home, I think it's obvious that things might look a little bit different today. I'm not wearing a tie. Nope, that's not true. We're not in our studio.
That's right. For the very first time, Good Morning Emerson is live from home and powered by Zoom.
Yeah, and so basically the reason why we're at home is because this last week Emerson reported an uptick in COVID cases, and we're like a cluster in Boston. So apparently the figures were there were 36 positive cases, and that led to a cancellation in all in-person activities.
Yeah, that's right. That was announced last Wednesday in an email to all of the students here. So the only thing that has continued to happen in person is our classes, but other than that, all indoor and outdoor organizations and outside events have been canceled until at least 5 p.m. today. So unfortunately, that does include us here at GME.
But, we still wanted to bring you a show. It's morning show on top, pajamas at the bottom. We're currently waiting for more updates from the school. So hopefully this cancellation period will not be extended. From what I know, currently there are 22 students in isolation and 29 in quarantine. So the numbers have gone down, which is good.
Yeah, that is a decrease from last week when the numbers were, I think, reaching up to 50 in quarantine. But it's still higher than what we're used to seeing here at Emerson. So we're doing what we can now, doing a virtual show and hoping to keep everyone safe on campus.
Mm-hmm. And despite not being studio, our crew and our EPs have worked incredibly hard, and we have a great show for you this morning.
That's right. Later on, we have Good Morning Emerson's very own Sam DeCoste. He's here to wake up with us and serenade us with his saxophone stylings. But first, we have our top news stories for the morning.
Minneapolis, already on edge over the Derek Chauvin trial, has witnessed another police shooting of an unarmed black man. A police officer confused her gun for her taser and fatally shot 20-year-old Devontae Wright on Monday. Fallout from the released footage of the incident has led to hundreds of protesters gathering around the Brooklyn Center police station. The mayor of Minneapolis and St. Paul have both declared states of emergencies, and professional sports games in the whole state have been postponed. Yesterday, the officer who shot Wright and the police chief both submitted their resignations. President Biden released a statement acknowledging the pain and struggle among the black community, but urged against any sort of violence. And the Minnesota governor, Tim Walz, is demanding lawmakers pass police reform ASAP.
If you are getting your COVID-19 vaccine soon, don't expect Johnson & Johnson. The CDC and FDA are calling for an immediate pause on J&J's vaccine. This after cases of a rare blood clot developed in 6 patients about 2 weeks after receiving the shot. Over 180,000 Massachusetts residents have the J&J vaccine right now. The state will follow guidance to pause the use of Johnson & Johnson here, but none of the 6 cases have been linked to Massachusetts. Acting FDA Commissioner Woodcock urges Americans to continue to get vaccinated with Pfizer and Moderna, emphasizing the government is acting out of an abundance of caution with J&J. The CDC and FDA are currently reviewing data from the 6 cases.
Up in Knoxville, an armed student died after an encounter with a police officer. Austin East Magnet High School has decided to cancel school for its students for at least 2 days. Police responded to a call of a potentially armed person on Monday afternoon and found the person in the high school bathroom. Officers ordered the student out of the bathroom, but the student instead fired shots. This prompted an officer to return fire. The gunman died at the scene, and the officers faced non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities want to make it clear, though, that this is not a school shooting, but rather an officer-involved shooting at a school. The investigation is still ongoing.
The United States will fully withdraw troops from Afghanistan by September 11th. This symbolic deadline marks the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. There are currently over 2,000 troops serving in Afghanistan. The withdrawal will begin before May, following a deal outlined by the Trump administration with the Taliban. This deal also means the beginning of peace talks with the Taliban, ensuring Afghanistan does not become a staging ground for attacks against the U.S. or its allies. The U.S. will maintain some military assets in the region to hold the Taliban to the deal's promises.
Our political correspondent Madison Goldberg has more on the Biden administration's latest policies.
And one of his recent nominations that's making history. Madison?
Thanks, Amog and Danielle. President Joe Biden nominated Christine Wormuth for Secretary of the Army, making her the first woman to ever fill the role. Wormuth previously served as the Pentagon's top policy official during the later years of the Obama administration and is the Director for Defense Policy at the National Security Council. Most recently, Wormuth served as the Director of the International Security and Defense Policy Center at the RAND Corporation and is a key player in the Biden transition team. Until Wormuth's nomination, no civilian heads of the military service had been nominated by the White House. And the latest in a series of executive actions focused on gun control from the Biden administration regards ghost guns. The guns can be made from kits at home without a serial number, and they are untraceable. The parts can be purchased without federal background checks. The man who shot and killed 10 people in Boulder, Colorado in March used one of these parts in his attack. Assembling guns of this kind has become popular among militia groups and gangs, as it allows them to avoid legally registering their weapons. In a review of 114 criminal cases over the course of the last decade, gun control advocacy group Everytown for Gun Safety found that over 2,500 ghost guns were connected to the crimes. The executive action comes in wake of a string of mass shootings within the past few weeks, the most recent at a high school in Knoxville, Tennessee, on Monday. And House Republicans remain silent on allegations of sex trafficking against Florida Representative Matt Gaetz. But this could change now that the House is reconvening to debate Biden's infrastructure plan and the migration surge at the southern border. California Republican House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy initially took the allegations seriously and expressed that he intended to speak to Gaetz about them directly. The conversation remains unclear, and McCarthy has not addressed the allegations since. Gaetz continues to deny all of the allegations against him, calling them, quote, smears against him, while speaking at a former President Donald Trump's Doral Golf Resort in Miami. And former New Jersey State Attorney General Ann Milgram was selected by the Biden administration to lead the Drug Enforcement Administration on Monday. Milgram is an outspoken critic of the criminal justice system and could potentially reshape drug enforcement amid the opioid crisis. Milgram currently works as a lawyer for a private practice, as a law professor, and a podcaster. Milgram once said, quote, there's no system that is more old school and broken and problematic than the criminal justice system. Throughout his presidential campaign, Biden criticized pharmaceutical companies for saturating vulnerable communities with excessive amounts of opioids and promised to direct the DEA to identify potentially suspicious shipments. That's all for politics this week. For Good Morning Emerson, I'm Madison Goldberg. Back to you, Amog and Danielle.
Thanks, Madison. Vaccinating Americans is in full swing. Here at home, a Massachusetts native is mobilizing volunteers across the country through a website called vaxvolunteers.org. Sharon Leslie created the website, a resource hub that creates a one-stop shop for people looking to volunteer at a COVID vaccine site. Many have taken the opportunity to volunteer through the website. Anyone who is over the age of 18 is eligible to sign up, and the process can be done through a form that can be found on vaxvolunteers.org.
A hearing in Massachusetts yesterday revealed 3 COVID-19 variants make up more than half of the infections in the state. The 3 variants of concern are more transmissible than the original strain of the virus. The new variants are believed to be what is contributing to the spread of COVID-19 across the country now. Specifically, the UK variant is now the dominant strain in Massachusetts, consisting of 19% of cases in the state. Experts also say it is the dominant strain nationwide. In 1 week, every Massachusetts resident over 16 will be eligible to get their vaccines.
So hopefully this afternoon, Emerson will end their lockdown and we can all resume our lives out of the room.
But no matter what happens, there are some exciting virtual events coming in the Emerson community you can still enjoy from the comfort and safety of your dorm. Our Emerson News reporter Catalina Perez de Armellán spoke to one org about their plans.
Catalina Perez de Armellán, and welcome to Emerson News. As the end of spring semester approaches, you may be wondering what Emerson events you can attend in the upcoming weeks. I'll be talking to Samantha Hogan, organizer of Emerson Main Events, about the EME Spring Fest happening on April 23rd from 1 to 4 p.m.
So can you tell me, what is the EME Spring Fest?
EME Spring Fest is actually
this event that we're doing virtually, hosted and co-sponsored by a bunch of different organizations. And basically, we have a ton of events going on. So we're going to have two main events. One is Free Money Game Show, which is a virtual trivia show where students can actually win money. And then our second main person is actually a musical performance by Alex On. He is a very talented violinist. We're also going to have virtual caricatures that you can get emailed to you, tarot card readings, origami, folding. It's just going to be a lot of fun and a fun way to end out the year. Students can sign up for SpringFest on our MConnect, and to keep up with the actual events that are going on and the times of everything, follow us on EC Main Events, which is our Instagram account. We also have a Facebook and a Twitter, so same handle there.
If you want to be part of fun events and giveaways, make sure to attend the Spring Fest happening on April 23rd. I'm Catalina Perez Darmiñan. Now back to the studio.
Thanks so much, Catalina. I might check out that trivia if it's for real money. But anyway, if you guys are interested, make sure to mark your calendars for April 23rd.
And when we come back, the amazing Joey Dubois is here with sports.
And a little look at what we've been doing here in our rooms. Stick around, folks.
All right, come back in 10 seconds. Ready, camera one. Camera one, get a wide shot of the entire thing, and in 3, 2, 1, take talent cue.
Welcome back to Emerson College. Emerson trails
Camera 4, get a shot of the players coming across the court.
10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point. As
Camera
the
2
team
close on the
finishes
person
their
shooting.
timeout. Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away and score this big one.
Camera 1, get a close up, follow them over.
Emerson trails WPI with 10 points. 10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point as the team finishes their timeout.
Camera 1, close up on number 33.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away.
Follow the ball, follow the ball.
Hey, we're your roomies, your homies, your new living best.
We live here too.
Thanks.
Liz! Do you have any idea what time it is?
It's time.
7. Oh, 7? It would mean a lot to me if you guys watch.
We're going to kick it on over to my man, Joey Dubois, and he has the latest in sports for you.
That's right. And I know, Joey, you're a New England native. How are you taking the recent news?
I'm devastated, guys. First it was Tom Brady, and now this. Another New England sports legend is out of the picture as Julian Edelman announces his retirement from the NFL. The Patriots receiver enjoyed an illustrious 12-year career, winning 3 Super Bowls in red, white, and blue. The 34-year-old spent his entire career in Foxborough and retires with the second most catches in postseason history. Edelman's perhaps most well-known for his iconic catch in Super Bowl 51, where the Patriots came back from a 28-3 deficit to defeat the Atlanta Falcons. The fan favorite is sure to be mixed next season. Hideki Matsuyama made history over the weekend as the first Japanese golfer to win the Masters. Matsuyama got off to a huge lead over the first few days and held on Sunday to secure the green jacket. He was far from a favorite to win the event, as many books had him at 40-1 heading into the tournament. But Matsuyama cemented his status as a legend at Augusta and back home in Japan over the weekend. In NBA news, Denver Nuggets star Jamal Murray is out for the season after tearing his ACL on Monday. Murray was averaging a career-high 21.2 points per game before the injury. The Nuggets made a surprise run to the Western Conference Finals last season, and after adding Aaron Gordon at the deadline, expectations were even higher for this year. So far it looked so good, as the Nuggets are 34-20, good for 4th place in the West. But without Murray, the Nuggets look to be on the outside of the championship picture looking in. The Bruins acquired former MVP Taylor Hall at the NHL's trade deadline in an effort to secure a playoff spot. The Bruins shipped out Anders Bjork in a second-round pick and also received Curtis Lazar in the deal. Hall won the Hart Trophy in 2018 as a member of the New Jersey Devils, where he lit the lamp 39 times and contributed 93 points. He struggled to reach those same heights since, in stints with the lowly Arizona Coyotes and Buffalo Sabres, but a chance to compete for the title in Boston could be the jolt he needs. The Bruins currently sit at 4th place in the NHL's East Division. That's all for me this week. I'm going to virtually pass it back over to you two, Danielle and Mo.
Thanks, Joey. I really need to get into hockey more. I hear it's a very fun sport. But last week we were following the impacts of the changing voting laws in Georgia, and we'll continue to do that this week.
Yeah, our entertainment correspondent, Carly Bronkema, has the story on how these laws are now affecting Hollywood.
That's right, guys. The upcoming slave drama Emancipation will no longer be filmed in Georgia. Star Will Smith and director Antoine Fuqua announced plans to move filming to Louisiana instead. Apple bought the movie rights last year and was part of the decision-making process. In a statement, Smith and Fuqua said, "At this moment in time, the nation is coming to terms with its history, and we cannot in good conscience provide economic support to a government that enacts regressive voting laws that are designed to restrict voter access." Many companies, including Disney, HBO, and Netflix, have often filmed shows and movies in Georgia. It is estimated by the Motion Picture Association that film and TV production in the state has provided 90,000 jobs, so a full boycott of the state could be detrimental. American Idol fans are still recovering after original AI judge Paula Abdul returned to the judge's chair. She replaced Luke Bryan after he announced that he had coronavirus. Abdul was able to reunite with another original judge, Randy Jackson, through a video call with Ryan Seacrest. On this call, Abdul reminisced on the original season and said, quote, "We are just missing the STD." She was referring to Simon Cowell, the last piece of the original AI judges panel. Abdul tried to say STD stood for super talented debonair. However, later in the show, she said to the other judges, "I cannot believe I said that." Cowell has not responded to the comment. Olivia Rodrigo keeps making headlines, and it doesn't seem like she'll be stopping soon. Yesterday, Rodrigo announced her debut album, Sour, which will be released on May 21st. It will include Driver's License, Deja Vu, and 9 other songs. Rodrigo is the first artist to have both of her first 2 proper singles debut in the top 10 of the Hot 100. The second season of High School Musical, the series, is set to premiere just 1 week before the new album. Olivia is really showing us what pandemic productivity looks like. And more news from a former Disney star, Brenda Song had a baby last week. Along with former Full House star Macaulay Culkin, Song announced the birth of Dakota Song Culkin. The baby was named after Macaulay's sister, who died in a car accident in 2008. The couple met on the set of Changeland in Thailand and were first spotted together in 2017. Overall, the couple has been very quiet about their relationship online. Song and Culkin have many film and TV credits under their belt, most notably Home Alone and The Sweet Life, so maybe it's destiny for the kid to grow up in the spotlight. That's all I have for today. I'm Carly Bronkema with your entertainment news.
I love that the rich girl from the Tip 10 and the Home Alone kid got together.
Yeah, literally until this news, I had no idea that they were a thing.
Yeah, that's insane. I guess good things do happen. So, obviously, we're not in the studio today. We're in our rooms. This is my dorm room, everyone. And it seems that Zoom calls have become the new normal.
That's true. And people who are very familiar with that are the Emerson students that are studying online. In our segment, Campus Connect, Good Morning Emerson's Maria Sato is catching up with students from across the globe and asking how they're taking on a semester remotely.
Teresa, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Where are you joining us from today?
I'm here from Taipei.
I understand that you have a time difference, and today you're joining us where it's 6 a.m. over there. How is it like being an online student?
The city in which I live is 12 hours ahead of Boston, which means a class that begins at 10 a.m. in Boston. It starts at 11 p.m. here. Since we started the online learning last year, I've only had a real life conversation with my family and my childhood friends, but I'm not going to be a hermit, so this semester I've been forcing myself to talk with others as much as possible.
How do you feel like your country is adapting to the pandemic. And how's your life there?
Well, like compared with the situation in the US, I don't think COVID has impacted Taiwan that much. We did have to wear masks and we did have to pay attention to the personal hygiene. I'm lucky because COVID didn't affect my family that much. I go to studio for my painting class every week because I'm super into the fashion and graphic design. Before I never systematically learned how to draw. So this semester I decided to try something new. Another thing I want to confess is that sometimes I may binge watching TV shows on Netflix. I just finished watching Bling Empire on Netflix. It's basically a reality TV series version of Crazy Rich Asians.
Thank you, Teresa, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Maria, and thank you, Teresa, for joining us.
So this morning we're joined by a dear friend of mine, a very own member of GME, and simply a man who needs no introduction, my dear friend Sam DeCoste.
That's a really flattering introduction, Mo. I'm really excited to be on GME today.
Sam, we're excited to have you. You're usually hard at work behind the scenes for GME, so it's a nice change to have you in front of the camera.
I agree. It's definitely nice to be in front of the camera for once.
Yep. So Sam, I hear that you're going to play a little saxophone for us later on. So Sam, how did you get into saxophone? How did that fall in your lap?
So I've been playing saxophone since I was 10 years old. When I was in 5th grade, they had my class go to the music room and the band teacher played us all the instruments that were available that we could choose. Everything woodwind, brass, percussion, and he played the saxophone and I just fell in love with the sound of the instrument. It was love at first sight, really. It sounds cliche, but it was true. And I've been playing for 10 years and it really changed my life forever.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. And something I feel like a lot of us here at Emerson don't know about you.
It definitely isn't something everyone knows about me. I know both of you personally. I don't think either of you found out until much later after we met. And I'll always dominate the fun fact conversation of the introduction because hardly anybody knows about it.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember when I saw Sam tell me when Sam told me about him playing the saxophone, I was very surprised, but it was oddly fitting if you know Sam. Do you know what I mean, Danielle?
Yeah, I do. So Sam, what are your favorite types of songs and music to learn?
Well, first of all, I'm not really sure how it's fitting, but I'll take it as a compliment. But I love pretty much anything. I love playing jazz, and I was really into jazz when I was in middle school. Also the classic ensemble songs you have to play like when you're a concert band at a middle school. But I also just love playing the pop songs that everyone will recognize. Later you'll hear me playing stuff like Rex Orange County, Childish Gambino, Stevie Wonder, Jason Derulo, because I really want to be able to play a song if you ask me to. I ask for requests all the time, and if you ask me to play the Monsters Inc. theme song or Best Friend, I want to be able to play it on the spot. And I think that I've done a pretty good job of doing that so far.
Sam, next time I see you in person, I'm gonna name out some Disney movie, and you better know the soundtrack. So, have you ever considered writing your own stuff? Maybe.
I actually have written my own stuff, and I don't tell people that either. I wrote my stuff way back, like maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I wrote stuff by myself. I would write sax music, ensemble music for concert bands and jazz bands. But mostly, what I find most joy in when I'm playing is not only knowing or studying other music, but just improvising, because that's what most saxophoning is, and that's what most good musicians do, is they're able to take a key for a certain song and then just improvise around it.
Well, Sam, I think you kind of touched on it a little bit there, but what is your favorite part about playing music for others?
Well, I love talking about it to people because, like you said, most people don't know that I play saxophone, and I really enjoy sharing that with people. I love seeing the look on their faces when I tell them that I play saxophone and watching their reaction when I'm playing. It's a really fun part of my life, and I guess I love sharing it with people. I love performing, and that's why I'm really excited to be on today.
So Sam, as many of us who know you in person know, you're one smooth, sexy cat who plays the saxophone, buddy. So say I also wanted to be like that. What advice would you give me if I wanted to start getting the saxophone, start playing that smooth silk that you play?
Well, that's a very flattering question to Mo. I guess what I would say is when I was 10 years old, I never thought that I would ever play an instrument in my life. I was pretty adamant that I was never going to do it. But 10 years later, I've been playing for a long time and I really enjoy it. So I guess I would say just have an open mind. Don't be afraid to try new things. And if you want to try a new instrument, I know that you're a drummer, Amok, so I know that you're very well-rounded. And I know you find entertainment in being a more well-versed musician. So if you want to play saxophone, just do it. Just ask for my horn. I'll lend it to you for a weekend and then we can figure something out.
We're going to jam, man. For sure, we're going to jam.
Yeah, I want to see that happen. I was going to learn. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Sam. When we come back, we have Sam DeCoste's jazzy renditions of some of your favorite hits.
Don't click away from the Facebook Live, folks. You definitely don't want to miss this. Welcome back to Good Morning Emerson, folks.
And now to perform a very special GME mashup, it's our very own Sam DeCoste.
Wow, Sam, that was fire, dude. That was amazing.
Thank you so much, Sam. I couldn't think of a better way to start our day off.
The sax appeal. So now that we've gotten some great music in our system, it's time for our newest segment here at GME.
That's right. For Heart of Boston, we help you discover different organizations that make a difference in the community and bring the city to life. This week, Angel Salcido got onto the mats and checked out a mixed martial arts gym here in Boston that's helping give back.
There's a fighter in all of us.
The person deep down within, that person who is bold, who is empowered, a way for us to really become who we actually are.
Ali Fuller is the executive director at Level Ground MMA. The gym uses mixed martial arts to help Boston youth find their voices.
It's really on the mat where we're able to find that person. Over the course of time, we're able to express that person off of the mat.
Yeah, good.
Jacobo Apito sees these transformations firsthand. He coaches MMA classes here daily.
Right now, I'm seeing someone already in that kind of development of their personality. Like when I first met them, they're very quiet, very shy, didn't want to participate. And now they're out there taking every class and like starting to participate more in like the activities with the more skilled people.
And it's not always a walk in the park.
I think this allowed me to be more humble, in a sense. To see someone like Jacobo take me down, you wouldn't imagine that.
Level Ground uses mixed martial arts as an equalizer to help every student find their strength.
It feels like I have more courage to talk to other people even though I don't know them exactly.
One thing I learned here is that if everyone is better, then that's going to make you better.
Even when life gets rough, Level Ground's MMA creates better fighters and, most importantly, better people.
If that person has the potential for power, then you do too. It's a shared trait that we all have.
The young people here, they might have more disjointed home environments, and that creates a hole in a person's heart. Not saying that we'll ever fill that hole in their heart, but maybe we can just make it a tiny bit smaller.
In Boston, Angel Salcido, Good Morning Emerson.
Yo, so Danielle, would you want to start fighting lessons with me?
I'd be down. Let's do it. Why not?
Yeah, what would you want to do? Like UFC or Taekwondo?
I honestly don't know too much about the specifics, so I'm going to let you choose. You decide, I'll just show up.
Okay, I think I'm in between jiu-jitsu or kickboxing.
All right, let's do it.
We would be amazing at kickboxing. we should live Zoom our fight.
Our fight, we're fighting.
Enough. Yeah, we should fight on camera.
All right, I think
for our morning show. For the morning show.
Perfect. I'm down next week.
You're down. You're down. Sam, can you provide the soundtrack? You'll provide the soundtrack. Anyway, so that's all the time we have for this morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us and tuning in. And I just wanted to thank all the EPs and crew for spending so much hard work and time for helping this possible and making the shift online.
Yeah, it's not an easy transition, and everyone here at GME is doing a great job. So thank you for making it possible. And thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next week. Sam, would you like to play us out?
Sure thing, guys.